I think we're all agreed that political reform has been demanded by the people of Ireland in the recent election. Now, I'd like to commend the government for some of its recent proposals. If it manages to get through a lot of the things that it's proposing to do, there will be some genuine, much-needed reform. In particular, I would like to applaud the Minister for your forthcoming proposal on the female candidates. I think that will genuinely be revolutionary. I'm delighted to see it, and I fully support it. So well done. On your proposals for local government, I would like, through the Chair, to suggest that there is a serious emphasis put on accountability. If we are going to have local funding, if we're going to have devolution of power, there's got to be serious accountability, which does not appear to be there at the moment, so I hope we see more of that. I would also like to welcome the government's proposal in their motion for the forthcoming legislation on whistleblowers, obviously something that is much needed in Irish society. In particular, I would like to note and commend Ministers Howlin and Hayes for their contributions yesterday. Minister Howlin explicitly addressed the motion that was tabled by the technical group, and I would like to thank the Minister for doing so, and note that he agreed with many of the ideas in there. And I would like to note Minister Hayes' passionate and convincing contribution around balance of power, and the fact that the balance of power at the moment between the Cabinet, between the Executive and between the Dáil, does not seem to be in a healthy place. And obviously rebalancing this is critical, and I hope that we will see some substantive moves in that direction. Now, there's been much debate over the last 2 days around various aspects of reform, the Seanad, the Dáil, local government. I'd like to concentrate this evening on Dáil reform specifically. It's widely accepted in the political science community that Ireland has the most centralised power of any government in Western Europe, and it's widely accepted that this is not a good thing. And Minister Hayes spoke eloquently about this yesterday. I'd like to make 4 observations as a new TD coming to the House, which are this. There does appear to be a lack of impact analysis, of regulatory impact analysis. There does appear to be a lack of meaningful debate with ministers on their proposed legislation. We don't appear to have a method yet for backbenchers in the government, for members of the opposition, to interrogate the ministers on specific issues. There is a blanket opposition of the party whip system. And there does appear to be a lack of transparency in cabinet decision-making. I accept you do need some of that, but it does seem to be quite extreme. If we use the Jobs Initiative, which is extremely important, as an example, my observation was this, that as a member of the Dáil who was being asked to vote on the bill, I think we'd all accept that taking €1.8 billion out of pensions is an extremely serious thing to do. And yet, as a member of the Dáil, trying to represent the people of Wicklow and East Carlow, I had no information as to the projected benefits. We were being asked to vote on extremely important legislation, both for jobs creation and with potential impacts to the pensions industry, and we simply did not have anything like the information we needed in order to do that. Now, as we know, the role of the Dáil is to hold the Cabinet to account. It's in the Constitution, Article 28, paragraph 4. The government shall be responsible to Dáil Éireann. So we need to be provided with the tools to do that. I welcome the government's proposal to bring a constitution on compulsory powers for committees, and hopefully to introduce meaningful questions for ministers on proposed legislation. In terms of the party whip, I have no ideological objection to political parties, and I understand that the whip may be necessary at times, but I would commend Deputy Murphy on the call for a free vote. This is done in other democracies, and it is seen as a good thing, and it allows government backbenchers to use their expertise and represent the people who voted them in here. The government backbenches are full of talented people with good ideas and a passion to get things done, and I think it must be extremely frustrating not to be able to meaningfully hold the government to account, and essentially to have to vote with the Cabinet on every single vote. I think that must be somewhat frustrating. We do need to address the culture as well as the rules. So whilst I commend the government on a lot of what it is saying, I'd like to make 3 observations on the culture. In terms of the committees, it appears from this side of the House like we are being handed a fait accompli with very little input in terms of the number of committees, in terms of what those committees will do, and in terms of the representation on those committees. And I note that the government has over-represented itself on those committees relative to the number of deputies in the Dáil. That concerns me.
I have to ask the Deputy to conclude now.
I will. So, the start of our motion, which Minister Howland referenced, said that our democracy needs to be effective, it needs to be accountable, it needs to be transparent, it needs to be representative, and it needs to be participatory. We probably all agree that we fail to a greater or lesser degree right now on all 5 of those. There has been fantastic debate this evening and yesterday evening on this, and a genuine passion from an awful lot of TDs for change. If we can change the rules and we can change the culture of the House, I think there may be a hope for us and for democracy in Ireland. Thank you.